Hello and welcome to the Ohio Pagans Guide. We're your hosts, Callie and Samora, and this is our guide to all things pagan in Ohio. So today we're going to talk about pagan spaces, what they are, why they're important, how to build them, and where to find them. So to start off with, let's define a community space, or in this case, a pagan space, which would be a pagan community space. It's a place to meet safely, to connect and build relationships through leisure, social, educational, or religious activities.
I would agree with that.
So in terms of pagan space, there's few and far between like actual spaces in Ohio. In Dayton, I know there's two temples. There's the Temple of Ancient Wisdom and there's the Temple of the Rebel Goddess. Unfortunately, I haven't had the experience to visit either of them yet. Future podcasts. I know from Google reviews that the Magical Druid in Columbus has shrines up. Now, I'm not entirely certain if those are open to the public to worship at or if they're just visual pieces that they have up, but I do know that they have shrines.
Right. I remember us talking about that.
Yeah, they're beautiful
spoiler
shrines.
Alert. We've done this podcast once before, but had to re-record it because we found more pagan spaces.
Yes, and we didn't want to have to recorrect in a future episode.
Yep, so here we are.
Here we are again. So there's the shrines at the Magical Druid in Columbus, and there's the two temples in Dayton. If you know of any others, please let us know, and we will do future podcast episodes on them.
And if they're close enough, we'll go visit.
Yes, that is we want to take a day trip and visit both of the temples in Dayton just to experience them, see what they offer. We're kind of hoping that we can maybe meet with the organizers of the temples, either the director or whoever put them together, and speak with them to talk to them about it. Why are pagan community spaces important?
Well, I think that they're important because it gives us a spot where we can actually practice safely. Unfortunately, there's a lot of spaces where we can't practice safely, even if we are paying for them or in nature, like the last Witch in the Woods that we did.
Or the woman who commented on my question about the best and worst things in Ohio, or of being a pagan in Ohio. She was at the Dayton University Rec Center.
Right.
And she was doing water healing thing, and she got kicked out saying that she was worshiping the devil and all of this other stuff. So, it's not always a friendly space out there for us. So having these areas that we can go to, I think, is very important, where we can be safe and we can worship how we want to worship and find other people, like not necessarily find a coven like we talked about in the last episode, but just find other people that we can come together with and have that community with and not feel so alone.
And knowing that no one's going to judge you on your practice because you're in a safe space.
Yeah, I think that community is important. And I think that you will always have different communities. You're going to have your community that you live in and that you support. You're going to have your community of people with similar interests, whether that's World of Warcraft or being a pagan.
Right.
And having those spaces where you can either virtually or in person be comfortable and speak about these things, I think is a key piece of importance.
Exactly.
Now, I know that you, Samora, have had some experience in building up a community with the Divine Witch. So how can you walk us through your process with that?
So the process that I had is I seen that there was a need in the community for pagan spaces here in Middletown, Ohio, or as some would know it, Butler County, Ohio. And at the time, when we were starting the Divine Witch, there was another group called Butler Pagan County Gatherings or something like that.
Butler County Pagan Gatherings.
Yeah. And so at that time, we were both kind of coming up at the same time. But what I did is I was like, you know what? We don't got anything going on. Let's try to find things that are either free or low cost, put an event page up, and then just see if people are interested. The first thing that we did was pagan bowling. You know what I mean? Like, it didn't cost that much. It was something that you could bring your kids to. And that's what I always try to do, is make it family friendly. because there's not a lot of family friendly spaces like some of your balls that you guys just found out. You have to be 18 or older to get into them, just like the fairy ball that we went to.
Hmm.
So it's hard to have pagan spaces that are extremely family friendly. And that's what I built the community on: safety, making sure that we're all trying to be safe. We're all trying to practice and have fun while we're doing it and also be respectful. Now, the thing with creating pagan spaces is even though you have an idea in your mind of, well, this is how you respect the space that we're in, this is how, etiquette pretty much. Not everybody that you meet in the community is going to have the same etiquette as you, and sometimes you literally have to spell it out.
Hmm.
Like, hey, you can't discriminate against somebody. If you got a presenter, you let the presenter, talk. If you're going to go talk to somebody else, and do it away from where you're doing the presenting and things like that. So those are some of the things that we ran into, just like common courtesy that some people don't understand. But when it comes to building a community, I would say that the most important thing is just trying to have fresh ideas. They don't want the same things over and over again, and just kind of listen to the community themselves. What is lacking? What do we need? There was times where the community needed clothes, or the community needed school supplies, or community wanted to do food drives. We listened to that, and that's where we kind of took our thing, is from the community themselves.
And I think that that is listening to your community and what they need is a big part of being part of a community. So knowing that, oh, it's school time and there are families out there that might need school supplies, and listening to that need and saying, we've put together these backpacks for kids that have some of their standard school supplies in them. Or food drives. I think food drives are big, especially around like Thanksgiving,
Right.
when you're trying to get all those meals put together.
But that's the thing that also kind of, excuse my language, sucks about it, is that everybody wants to think about around those times, but they don't want to think about any other times.
Yeah.
Like, I struggle mostly in the beginning of the year or towards the end of the year. Somebody else might struggle midsummer, you know what I mean? You never know. And we always told people, and there's enough resources in our community between Dagda's Cauldron, Hestia's Table, some mom and pop shops that set up their own. I know Coexist has the thing that they do for the homeless, and they take food drive stuff, donations. So there's all these resources, but it's just getting the resources out there and having people know about it.
Yeah, I think October, which is a pagan shop in Cleveland. Let me double check the notes. Yes, Cleveland. They had a pantry in their store that
Yep.
people could donate food to and take food from. And I know the last time I checked their website, that was not currently running. And they said because, there wasn't enough donations or enough need in the community.
Right.
And I think that there's probably more people who could donate, but just didn't know that they were doing that.
Right. And that's why having podcasts like this helps. It spreads the word about places, because, like, we were getting ready for this podcast. We had already taped it. We got in contact with other people from Ohio to get our intros and outro music. And guess what? We found about more pagan spaces.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about community and working with each other and talking with each other.
And getting that knowledge out there, because there isn't a huge, I don't want to say interest because that's the wrong word, there's not enough support. Getting that information out there, there's not enough support, not necessarily interest. I think there's a lot of interest out there, but there's not support for pagan opportunities. And I think that that's the key thing, is we need to drum up our own support.
And I noticed, like, it's kind of hard because everybody's like, I'm struggling with this economy that we got going on. Everything is so high. Gas is high, food is high. And it's like, well, how can I help my community if I'm struggling myself? Just volunteer.
Yeah.
If time itself is a commodity, and also a way that for your own spiritual practice. When you go to volunteer, you can volunteer in your name of your god, your goddess, your ancestors, whoever it may be, and that's a form of sacrifice. You don't get that time back, and that's the ultimate sacrifice.
I believe that time is my most valuable resource. My
Mm-hmm.
time is my money. And so when I volunteer my time, that's quote unquote money I'm giving away. I'm
Yep.
donating that time to help somebody else, and it's a free act
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of I don't have to pay anything to do it.
Right.
And so, and as I told my boss, he's working with this group unrelated to paganism. He's working with this group that wants everything for free, and they want all of these reports. And I told him I'm not going to work without being paid. So,
Right.
because it's my time, it's time I take away from my family, it's time I take away from work. It's time I take, it's my time, and that time is valuable.
Right.
So yeah, if you're struggling in the economy as it is, and you can't, afford everything that you absolutely want in life, and you can't donate to this cause, volunteer your time.
Yep. Because there's always a need for volunteers. Because so many people will sign up to be a volunteer, and then when the time comes, they're just like, "Oh, I can't do it," or and things do come up, health, finances, things of that nature. But then there's also the 40% of like, well, I was interested in the time, but now I don't want to put forth the time. When you're doing it.
Witch in the Woods always used to have volunteer spots,
Yep.
for people who couldn't afford their
Camp out.
their camp out spot. You could come in and volunteer to work at the water station or at the welcome table
Yep.
or anything like that, and that would cover your spot so you could camp and still enjoy.
And we did that just to be able to, because we always wanted to make it affordable. Because I was of the premise, like, I grew up poor. So not being able to do things because of finances always made me feel like, well, I'd blame it on my parents. Like, why can't they afford this? Why can't we do that? And I didn't want our community to have that burden on them just because they can't spend $300-400 like some of these other ones, like Starwood, for example. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's very expensive. And I get why it's expensive because there's so many things that you can do, so many vendors, plus volunteers, time, space, and everything in between. But also for the people that, which by the way, Starwood actually does offer a volunteer program, so this is nothing against them. It's just an example. But yeah, it's just things like that. Like, you just want to make it easy access for people to be able to do something with their family and still be part of the community.
Mm-hmm. And I think that that is valuable. So, how do you find space?
Finding space is always the frontier, right?
Yes, I think Facebook is a fairly good resource.
Mm-hmm.
I've found like some Norse pagan groups that I've become accustomed to. That's where we found the people who are working on our music.
Yep.
Is from a Norse pagan Discord server. I put a request out in the music talk section about um, anybody interested in. We were thinking originally of just featuring Ohio pagan artists
Yep.
as the intro and outro music for these podcasts. And while we are still going to do that, we are also going to get some standard music from some Ohio pagan musicians. But I put a request out if for anybody who would be interested in sharing their music and having it spotlit, and found these two music producers who are absolutely wonderful.
And you heard them at the beginning, and you'll hear them at the end of the podcast.
Another space, as we mentioned in the Coven episode, is Mandragora Magica, which lists different communities that you can find in the area. I took some time and researched different shops in Ohio. Please understand this is not an exhaustive list. This is mostly from recommendations from my question about the best and worst things in Ohio for pagans, as well as just some general searching for metaphysical stores. Some of these places, I think your metaphysical stores are a good place to start looking if you're looking for groups active locally. They're going to come to these stores, they're going to be active, they're going to post notices, or the store owners may have some information
Yep.
about groups in the area. So we'll start with stores in the northeast of Ohio. This is going to be the Cleveland area. There's October, which is a metaphysical shop specializing in witchcraft and occult supplies. offering readings weekly with Event Space, and they have pretty regular events based on what I saw on their website. Like, I think right now they're doing a tarot series.
See, that's fun too. I love a good tarot a series, but I'm also a tarot reader, so
Yeah.
a little biased.
There's the Dragon's Mantle in Akron. It is a metaphysical pagan and Wiccan shop offering everything that you would require for your spiritual journey. They offer readings, Reiki sessions, and training, and other various classes. And then the other one that was frequently recommended was Spirit Apotheosis in Bedford. It was established in 2003. It carries over 700 herbs, spices, and teas, and they also stock crystals, books, oils, and more. In the southwest of Ohio, this is going to be the Cincinnati area, there's the Alternative Path, also known as Coexist.
Love them.
They are in Hamilton. They do crystals, tarot readings, herbs, essential oils, books, jewelry, candles, and more. They also own Posh Pagan, which is a gothic, witchy, and alternative clothing store.
And the best part is they're right beside each other.
And another Hamilton-based store is Arius and Fos. This is a metaphysical store featuring crystals, tarot, spiritual tools, as well as custom tea blends. Justine has gone there frequently and says that their main focus seems to be on the tea blends. They're more of an apothecary than a metaphysical store, which I think is really kind of cool.
It's nice to have variety, especially like some of their tea blends. Like when we have her on, we'll do a whole thing on them eventually. Yeah.
We'll do an interview with the owner.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Kind of go in there and see. Ooh, maybe we can get them to make a 7 Moon Sisters or a Moon Sisters tea.
There's the Celtic Cottage in Sardinia. Now, this place specializes in handmade items, which I think is very interesting.
Right.
Like, it's not mass produced, is my understanding. Is they may have some mass produced stuff, but their focus is on hand making everything.
Which I like that.
And they also operate as a safe space. You can come in and just chat. You don't have to pay for anything. You can just have a chat, hang out with people, that kind of thing.
Right.
There's Enchanted Moments in Milford. They are described as a delightfully enchanted metaphysical gift shop offering an array of gifts and services. They were established in 2004.
I feel like I've been there before, but I can't remember.
I have not, even though I've been in Milford several times. I did not realize there was a metaphysical shop in Milford, to be honest. I found this one researching.
Well, we'll definitely be checking it out. By the way, all these shops that we're recommending, at some point in time, we're going to be checking out and doing a podcast about them. So if you can't get to them right away, and we do, you'll get to learn about them.
There's Native Moon Apothecary in Cincinnati, offering herbs, teas, spiritual tools, skincare, and feminine care. And they specialize in alternative and holistic health.
I like the feminine care aspect, and I'm wondering what they offer.
Yeah, I would be interested in checking that out. There is Sterling Seraph in Hamilton. They are a boutique of handmade sterling silver jewelry, house blended teas, coffee, herbs, skincare, natural remedies, crystals, incense, clothing, including a magnolia pearl clothing. Also home to Butler County's oldest metaphysical shop.
Now, I said this on the last one, and I'll say it on this one. I don't know. Is Hamilton considered Butler County?
I believe so.
Okay. I just want to clarify for my own before I make the statement. Coexist has been around for 20 years. Sterling Seraph hasn't been in this area for 20 years. Now, she might have been in a different area.
I believe she was down in either Covington or Cincinnati on the river, because there's also Seraph by the river.
Right. But the statement of oldest in Butler County, it just irks me. I have nothing against the owner, by the way. It's just like, make your statement, make true.
Don't try to take from others.
Yeah.
Because it as far as I know, Coexist has always been in Hamilton.
It's where they originated. That's where they've been. They've been at the same spot for I at least know of a decade.
She might be the oldest pagan store in no, not even in Cincinnati.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure some of these other ones. Central Ohio stores. We have the Magical Druid in Columbus. They do magical, metaphysical tarot, conjure, and spiritual books and supplies for pagans, neo-pagans, witches, druids, and occultists. They also are responsible for putting on the Ohio or the Columbus Witches Ball. There's Urban Stone in Bellefontaine. They do crystals, herbs, candles, Reiki, and tarot readings. Lovely little shop.
And they're nice people.
They're nice people. It's a lovely little shop. If they don't have something, if you're looking for a specific herb and they don't have it, you can ask them to order it for you. They ship all over, so you can go to their website and order whatever they have available. What I don't know is how they source their crystals, but they do get a wide variety of crystals in. Right. I do know that their amethyst comes from the Ohio Caverns in West Liberty.
Really? That's pretty cool.
Yeah. There's Witch Lab in Columbus. They do occult, oddities, and antiques. There's Blessed Be Spiritual Shop in Grove City. They have been serving the community since 2011, and they offer a wide variety of products and services. And then Moonflower Effect in Sydney. They do crystals, tarots, oil, candles, and wellness tools.
That's a lot.
Yeah. And that was just a brief internet research.
Right.
There were more. Those are just the ones that came up kind of top of the list. And then I think that we can't complete this discussion of pagan spaces without talking about pagan meccas.
Right.
Which just are places that attract people. I think if I had to say Ohio having a pagan mecca would probably be Cleveland, with the Witch Museum up there and the
Buckland's Witch Museum.
Yep. And then the amount of stores that are kind of in that area as well. I know we only highlighted 3, but there are way more than that.
Right.
One of them, I can't remember what it's called, but it's like Goddess Edge or something like that. They're actually sponsoring a event at the Buckland Museum where Christopher Penzek, I think that's his name, is coming in to give a lecture.
I'll see, that would be cool.
In April. So it's, I think that would be Ohio's pagan mecca is Cleveland, because you have these shops, you have the museum, you have all kinds of events going on, because Cleveland has its own witches ball. Also, according to Justine, a very vegan friendly place,
right?
Which I know a lot of pagans tend to be. So it's very vegan friendly. So I think that would be our pagan mecca. But I think when you say pagan mecca, I think the 2 that come up in people's minds are Salem, Massachusetts, and New Orleans. Yeah.
Which we get to go to Salem here soon.
Oh gosh, so very soon. By the time this post, we'll probably have already been in Salem.
Will it?
Yeah. Because we're posting Covens on the 2nd of April. So this one will come out in May.
Oh, okay. So yeah, by that point, we'll be back.
We'll be back, and I probably have several little mini episodes talking about it.
Oh, several.
We won't shut up about it for months, you'll know. And we're also talking about going to New Orleans.
Yep, in 2028.
Yep. So we will have our reviews of those meccas, and we're doing Cleveland in September. So
yep. And we're going to check out all the shops that we can. Food.
Museum.
It's going to be a whole shebang. And you guys are going to hear it here first. So without further ado, have a witchy day.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Ohio Pagan's Guide. If you have questions or would like to suggest a topic we should discuss, reach out to us via email at ohiopagansguide@gmail.com or on Facebook at the Ohio Pagan's Guide.